There's pros and there's cons to Matt Nagy being the offensive coordinator for the New York Football Giants. And one of his pros, I hope, can unlock Jaxson Dart. This is New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. I know there's been a lot of opinions on the Giants hiring Matt Nagy as their offensive coordinator. I've shared mine. We did a deep dive of pros and cons, and one that we talked about that I am hoping that he can translate from his past to now at this time in the New York Giants is helping Jaxson Dart be a better thrower down the field. That was probably the one area that I thought Jaxson Dart really struggled this year. And you look at the numbers on throws where the ball traveled 20-plus yards in the air. He attempted 50 of these throws, one of the highest numbers in the National Football League, and only completed 16 of them. A lot of reasons for that, and we'll dive into that on today's show. But when you complete only 32% of your throws that travel 20-plus yards in the air, that's a major problem. Think about it like this. Of all QBs to throw at least 37 deep balls, Jaxson Dart had the second worst completion percentage. And it was 0.1% higher than last place. And that was Geno Smith, while having the fourth highest attempt percentage. So you were one of the worst essentially, when it comes to completing those throws. And you were the guy that threw those amount of throws the fourth highest rate, an area that he has to get better at. Luckily for Jaxson Dart, Matt Nagy has had to deal with this before. When he was the offensive coordinator in 2017 for the Kansas City Chiefs, his quarterback was Alex Smith. And Alex Smith was a player like Jaxson Dart who early on in his career could not complete the deep ball. He did it at a solid level in 2009, not so good in 2010. 2011, solid. 2012, he barely threw the deep ball. Then he got to the Chiefs, and it was not good before Matt Nagy got there. 2013, 14 of 45. 2014, he just cut the diet nearly into a third, completing only 8 on 24 attempts. And the next year, 34%, 17 completions on 50 attempts, and the next year about the same percentage. Whereas when you talk about where Matt Nagy joined the team with the Kansas City Chiefs, Alex Smith completed a league-high 33 throws on 20-plus yards on 65 attempts. The attempts went way up, and the completions went way up. And think about it like this. When Matt Nagy was not with Alex Smith, it was not good. He completed just 35% of those throws, 112 completions on 314 throws. He gets with him, he completes almost 50 or above 50% of those throws. Then in 2018, the year after Matt Nagy leaves, he goes to Washington and he completes just 10 of 34 throws. The question now becomes, can Matt Nagy work that magic on Jaxson Dart? Was that a Nagy thing? Was that an Andy Reid thing? I'm not sure. I'm hoping that that is something that Nagy can bring to the New York Giants. There's a lot of ways that he can get better in that regard. First off, he has to have better feet in the pocket. His feet, his hips, his shoulders, they need to be tied together. How many times did we see Jaxson Dart throwing that little fadeaway throw, trying to throw it to the deep left side of the field? What about the throw against the New Orleans Saints that Darius Slayton dropped? It was really tough. It was behind him. He left a lot of those throws short, and then he would miss deep. It just wasn't consistent. And I believe with more work being done on his feet, which I know he's going to put in, marrying his feet, hips, and shoulders together, working the mechanics, he can take that next step. And I'm hoping Matt Nagy, and as well as whoever the quarterback coach is, can help him do that. And there's people in the comments going to say, well, Marshall, what about all the drops? And there were a lot of drops. And Pro Football Focus comes up with a stat called adjusted completion percentage. Adjusting your completion percentage to factor in the number of drops. And there were 4 drops on throws where the ball traveled 20-plus yards this year for Jaxson Dart. It would have took his completion percentage to 40% if all of those drops were converted into catches. And I'll admit, PFF is very, very tough to say that is a drop, meaning Even if it is a drop, they might not even categorize it as a drop. So there were probably more than 4. But I think when you look at this chart, Jaxson Dart's spray chart for 2025, it kind of puts it into perspective. He attempted 14 throws deep to the left part of the field, only completed 3 of those. And as a quarterback, when you're throwing to the left, your mechanics, your feet, everything needs to be tied together because you can naturally bail out of the pocket like Jaxson Dart did. And he threw off his back foot a little bit too much this last year, just naturally kind of hopping when he threw the ball. He's going to get better at that. And the numbers say that that is kind of a reason that he was not great. 5 of 15 deep in the middle of the field, and then 8 of 21 to the outside to the right. He has to get better there. And I think he will get better. And I hope Matt Nagy is the guy that could do that. And with potentially Malik Neighbors coming back next year at full strength, that's going to help with that. We saw what Neighbors did for a guy like Daniel Jones when he was throwing the ball down the field. Like when he went over the top of the head of the Cleveland Browns defender on the left side of the field and just plucked it out of his hands. What about when Russell Wilson was throwing moonball after moonball to Malik Neighbors against the Dallas Cowboys? That type of talented receiver and one that excels in contested catch situations is going to help a quarterback do that. So yeah, it's going to get better by itself, but Dart has to get better as well. And we know that the Giants are going to want to continue to throw the ball down the field. And they're paying a receiver this year $16 million to do it. And you would like to think and hope that Darius Slayton can return to maybe what he was in 2023 or in 2024, where he was a 700-yard receiving guy and he was getting deep down the field. Like, you're hoping Darius Slayton can be better this upcoming year. I don't know if it was mental. I don't know what it was. Matt Nagy is a guy where we saw in Kansas City, they wanted to throw the ball more down the field towards the end of his tenure. And we talked about it with Alex Smith. That was a big part of that offense. The thing with Slayton is we know it. Drops. Way too many drops. 39 career drops. He has a career drop percentage of 11.5%. He has to get better on those. This past year, he had the 6th highest drop percentage in the National Football League. The receivers have to help Jaxson Dart out as well, whereas he needs to make their life a little bit easier on top of that. I want to talk more about this coming up in a second. First, though, with the big game right around the corner, the last chance to get in on some football action this season is for the big game. I'm talking about playing Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the game. The best time to play is during the big game. And they've got a big game promo code going on. Play $5, give $50 when you use that promo code CLNS. Pick more, pick less, play Prize Picks. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you either pick more or less on the projected stat line that Prize Pick has for those players. They're giving you a big game discount as well on Drake May. They have set his stat total for passing yards at 0.5. A big game max discount. Take the more on that. Find out how many other selections that you like. I'm going with just 2 people. The more on Drake May's passing yards and the more on Sam Darnold's passing yards. You can roll with my picks or you can fade my picks. Just do it at Prize Picks. Shout out to them. Download the app, create an account, use that promo code CLNS. Play your first $5 and get $50 in lineups. You don't even have to get that first one correct. Shout out to Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Pat Leonard, who does a great job covering the Giants at Super Bowl's Radio Row, he sat down with Tyquan Thornton, Chiefs receiver for last year, played under Matt Nagy, and he talked about how Nagy is an aggressive offensive coordinator. He wants to throw the ball down the field, spends a lot of time with their quarterbacks, and he thought that Nagy essentially was a big reason that Tyquan Thornton had a career year this year. And I get it, not the most elite season for Tyquan Thornton, but 19 receptions resulting in 438 yards, 3 touchdowns, 23.1 yards per catch. Thornton is going to be a free agent this offseason, and I would not be surprised if Nagy maybe tries to bring him along. 23.1 yards per catch. The thing about it that is even crazier to say out loud is his average depth of target, 27.8 yards per throw. Like, that is essentially every time he was targeted, he was 27.8 yards down the field. He is a deep threat who doesn't drop the football, or at least did not last year. 0 drops for Thornton in 2025, and when he found himself in contested catch situations, he caught 4 of those 10 targets. Have a guy take top off the defense, catch the football for maybe relatively pretty cheap, knows the Matt Nagy system. Jaxson Dart likes to throw the ball at one of the highest rates down the field. I think this could be a good idea. Thornton in 2025 had some big games. What about against the Giants? 5 receptions, 71 yards, and a touchdown. He also got, he drew a defensive pass interference that got him deep down the field. Against the Jags, 3 receptions, 90 yards. Had a 61-yard catch for the Broncos. Giants have to continue to try to find ways to be more explosive and need to get guys that can catch the ball down the field. With Jaxson Dart, I think Thornton would do that. And kind of a bonus, he can play special teams as well. 38 snaps for him this year on the special teams. On the special team side of the ball, I think that could make some sense. And I don't think it's going to be expensive. I think you can get him for a cheap 1-year deal, cheap 2-year deal, 2 years, $6 million total, $3 million a year. I don't think it's going to cost too much to get Thornton to be a Giant. I would understand why you want to stay with the Chiefs, but you have to wonder what Patrick Mahomes' season is going to look like next year, considering he did tear that ACL. Whether the Giants do re-sign or don't re-sign Wan'Dale Robinson, I still think they need to go out and add another receiver. And here are some of the top receivers in the 2026 free agency class. Looking at George Pickens, I think he's out of the Giants' price range. Juwan Jennings, it seems just a little bit too expensive for me at $22.6 million. Alec Pierce is my dream. Are the Giants willing to pay him $20+ million? Something I think he's going to get. Wan'Dale is expected to get around $17.6 million. Is that a little bit too rich for the New York Giants? You look at a guy like Rashid Shaheed. That would be someone I would love to have on this team. Game-breaking speed, contributes to special teams, and anytime he touches the football, he's a threat to go the distance. And you got some older guys like Deebo Samuel and Mike Evans. Not sure how much interest the Giants will have in them. Romeo Doubs is someone I'm really interested in. At 25 years old, could play outside, big-bodied, physical, strong at the catch point as well. Don't think the Giants will have much interest in Keenan Allen. Marquise Brown, a chief, deep threat, knows Matt Nagy. That could be somebody. I don't think Christian Kirk will be anybody they have interest in. Then you have someone like Calvin Austin, Jalen Naylor, Cleve Raymond, Kendrick Bourne, and some other names as well. I think the Giants have to make another move at receiver. Name a receiver you want them to sign in free agency. I mean, we're probably about a month away from free agency being kicked off, and that's one of my favorite times of the year. Give me a name. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_.